But it wouldn't be a proper test if I didn't jump into creative and crank some 90s. Yeah, this just feels, oh man, feels so much better than actually. Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to attach your own trigger stoppers to your controller for less than $5. Now for some of you, you may already have a controller like a Scuff or an Xbox Elite that has trigger stoppers, but for the 99% of you that have a standard PS4 or Xbox controller, this is the little life hack that I've been using for over a year now. It's literally the most game-changing thing you can do to your controller. Yes, I know I'm becoming a life hack channel now, so be sure to like and subscribe for more controller life hacks. Nah, but for real, let me show you how many times I've done this. So I've obviously done it to the controller I'm using right now, as I've shown you in videos. I've also done it to one of my very old controllers. I've done it to this controller. I've done it to just so many controllers. And I've actually compared my trigger stoppers to a Scuff's trigger stoppers, and they're literally the exact same thing. And I have made a video before telling you how I've done it, but this time I'm actually going to show you properly. As well as I have got a brand new controller and the supplies to do it. So let's get right into it. Right, now first things first are things you need. First thing, obviously a controller. Now everyone's gonna have a controller, but the reason I bought one is because I make YouTube videos. If all of a sudden something goes wrong with the controller I'm using, I like to have a backup controller. And I thought since I have a backup controller sitting here, I might as well make this video. Now the thing I like to use to actually make the trigger stoppers is cable ties. You can basically use anything that's hard and can be put in between the top of the trigger and the bottom of the plastic thing there. So back in the day, I have used like a little metal bolt to put in there, just anything that you can glue that will stop the trigger from going down. And this isn't something that's going to fall out or is temporary. Like if I push on these as hard as I can, they're literally rock solid in there. Once you start using trigger stoppers, you'll never go back. And of course, the thing I use to put it in is super glue. Now, quick disclaimer, super glue is no joke. I highly recommend if you're gonna do this to use gloves and get parents' permission. With super glue, you can glue your fingers together, you can glue your eyes shut, you can even go blind. So please do not do this on your own if you've never used super glue before, because this is really dangerous. But I actually like to use these little cotton wool tips so I can put the cable tie in place and press on it without actually using my hands. So yeah, I'm gonna quickly clear out my desk and let's get into it. All right, now we are all set up, ready to go. So I got the camera in the top left, which is gonna be the close-up that you can see. And I got the big camera up here, which is just gonna show you the overall workspace. So I'm gonna put down this bit of cardboard just so I can work on it and not get any super glue on my desk. And let's go ahead and open the new controller. Ooh, okay, alrighty. So the brand new PS4 controller, yeah, this does feel like really nice. Like it feels a lot better than the controller I'm using, but these triggers, they just go in like way too much. So trigger stoppers, if you guys didn't know, actually halves the distance in which you have to push down the trigger, which is gonna make it a lot quicker for you to rapid fire shoot or for you to build, edit. Everything's just gonna be so much better with trigger stoppers. All right, now time to get our cable ties. So I'm not sure if you can see that stick up the top there, but these were only $2. Like I said, there's a whole bunch of things you can use. I've just always used cable ties. You're only gonna need one as well, so I guess you got like 99 cable ties that you don't need. All right, so with the cable tie, this is kind of what we're looking at here. So it's not like the cheapest, thinnest ones you can get. You kind of need them a little bit thick, but not too thick as well. So as you can see in that top camera, that cable tie is like the perfect length for a trigger stopper. I also forgot to mention that if you've got an old controller lying around, you should practice on that one first, because there is an unlikely but possible chance that you can glue your triggers shut. So definitely practice on an old controller if you have one. So just comparing it to my old controller, you only need like the tiniest bit of cable tie. All right, and so top camera, this is how big the cable tie is. So it's literally the tiniest little thing. Now you can kind of see I've got it on the controller right there, so it should look like that. And now we're gonna get the super glue. And also one thing about super glue is don't get the real cheap ones. I know for the super glue, there was like 5 for $2, but you're better off getting like the one for like $3. And I'm gonna tilt my controller forward a bit so the super glue doesn't leak. All right, so nice amount of super glue on there. I'm just gonna try and drop this into place. And then once it's in place, I'm gonna get this little cotton swab and just push it into the better position. So I'm gonna make sure the bottom of the cable tie is parallel with the controller, so it actually hits it on a flat angle. And once it's on there, I just like to add a little bit more super glue around. And I'm just gonna let that dry for like 5 minutes. One thing to do while it's drying is just to push the trigger in and out up to the cable tie. Don't push too hard, but just push it enough so you know the trigger's not gonna get stuck while you're doing it. Alright, so we're back 5 minutes later. It's all dried up, ready to go. I am going to put another layer of super glue just because I do like to fill in the cracks. Like, as you can see, it's on there really good, but it's still kind of got like a little crack there. I just like to fill in the cracks with super glue. So let's just do one more quick layer. Alright, and 5 minutes later, we are back. So as you can see by that top camera, that first trigger stopper is in. So if I just show you up here, see with this trigger, all the way in, and this trigger stops right there. So it's not even going in half the distance. And this will still activate the trigger, by the way, because the trigger's default dead zone is 10% of the way in. So as you can see here, we're probably going in about 40% of the way in. So it's easily going to activate that. Now it's time to do the other one. Alright, now we got one on the exact same size, so now let's add some super glue and put it on. That is lining up perfect. Now we're just gonna let that dry. I'm just applying a little bit of pressure here so I know it's going to stay where it is and it's gonna be nice and firm. Yeah, that is literally perfect. Alright, and it's all done. My brand new controller with its homemade trigger stoppers. So as you can see, they work exactly like normal trigger stoppers. When I'm playing, I'll probably press them this hard, but if I even press really hard, they are hanging in there really well. They are in fact solid as a rock, just like the ones I made for this controller. Alright, now to quickly test the percentages on this controller. So as you can see, the triggers are B6 and B7. So if I just push them in, push this one in, 50%, and this one in, so they're almost exactly the same when you push them in, which is perfect. And if I just plug in the current controller I'm using now, same goes. It's hovering around the 50% mark, which is exactly what you want. But it wouldn't be a proper test if I didn't jump into creative and crank some 90s. As you can see, White Galaxy Control Freak, we got the trigger stoppers on, ready to go. All right, here goes nothing. So L2 works perfectly, R2, yeah, all right, and they feel really good. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, this just feels, oh man, feels so much better than actually not using trigger stoppers. Yeah, it definitely, if you do use the triggers as one of your edit buttons, it definitely will help with your edit speed because you don't have to pull the trigger in as far when you're editing. Anyway guys, that's gonna about wrap it up for this video. I just thought I'd make a video properly showing you how I do put trigger stoppers on my controller. It's something that people always ask me about since I've been doing it for over a year. If you found this video helpful, do be sure to drop a like and let me know what else you'd like to see in the comments. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.